Hey everyone, welcome back. And today I'm going to show you how to build this a professional automated stock portfolio dashboard right inside Excel. So whether you're tracking your investments or just looking to level up your data visualization game, this is the perfect project to get you started. So let's dive in. First, I've given myself a head start by laying out the foundation here. You can see the structure of the dashboard and the table headers we'll be using to track the holdings. So now let's bring in our data. And instead of wasting time on manual entry, what I'm going to do is that I will type the ticker symbol. I'm going to use Tesla for this example. And while this cell is selected, I'm going to head over to Data tab here and then select the stocks data type. So what Excel is doing is that it instantly recognize the asset, and it will pull in all the live market information for that stock. So I'm just going to select this. And if you also notice, the moment that we import the name of the stock, it's actually pretty long. So it looks a bit messy. So instead of like dragging the columns manually every single time, I'm going to automate the fix for that one. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to hit Alt and then F11. So as you can see here, it actually opens the VBA editor. So I'm going to double click on the worksheet that I'm working on, and that is this one. So this terminal opens up. This is where we are going to type the code. So I'm going to type private sub worksheet change. So this part of the code, the Cells.EntireColumn.AutoFit, this is the action. So basically, this is the thing you want done. This, on the other hand, the private sub worksheet change, this is like the trigger. So what it does is it tells Excel, hey, the exact moment a user changes something in this worksheet, immediately run the AutoFit action. So technically what this code will do is that every time you type like a long word or a sentence in a cell, the length of the cell will automatically adjust. So you don't have to manually drag the columns. And what I'm gonna do here is that I will save this one. Now this is the one final critical step because this is a macro. So we must save our file as an Excel macro enabled workbook. And if you can see, that is actually the .xlsm format. So this will ensure that our code stays active and runs every time we close and reopen the file. So I'm just gonna save that. And I'm gonna close this. Okay, now let's continue. Now this is the stock that we just added, and if you notice, when we click the stock or the cell, you can actually see this small table-like icon appear next to it. So I'm gonna click that, and it actually opens up a list of hidden data points. So I'm going to select the ticker symbol, and as you can see, it automatically extracts the ticker into the next cell. So what we're going to do now is that we will move over to the invested block. So the invested block is where we track exactly what was paid to get into the trade. So I have 3 columns here. I have units, price, and total. And you know what? I'm just going to change this to board lot. Now, for those who aren't familiar with stock trading, a board lot or a round lot simply refers to how some brokers require you to buy stocks in a specific group sizes like 10, 100, or 1000 shares at a time. So I'm just gonna type 100 here. Now, next to our board lot is the price. So this is where you will enter the purchase price or the actual price of the stock at the moment it was bought. And let's just assume I bought the Tesla for $235. Now let me set this one to currency. I'm going to remove the decimal places. And then finally, for the total, this is just a simple multiplication formula. So type in the equal sign and then multiply the board lot by the price. All right, so the total, this will actually give us the total cost basis for the investment. This will also provide the baseline that we will be needing to calculate the profit or loss later on. So let's move on to the last change block. So for the last change, this will basically tracks how the stocks are moving today. So I also have three columns for this block. I have the change day, the percentage, and then the trend. And I'm just gonna name this one change percentage. Now for the change day, I'm going to use the built-in data capabilities. So just type the equal sign and then I'm going to select the stock here and then I'm going to select this change. What Excel is doing here is that it actually gives us the real-time fluctuation in dollar value compared to the previous day's closing price. Now, next to it is the change percentage. So what this column means is technically it's actually the same thing as change day. The only difference is that it displays the change as a percentage. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on this one, the sell stock, and then I will select this one, change percentage. So next is the trend column. So for the trend column, I am planning to use the unicar function. So I'm going to get a bit creative with this one. So if you notice, I have another sheet called calc. And as you can see here, I have already listed the Unicode. What I'm gonna do is that I will use the Unicode for my up and down arrows. So to get the arrows, I would need to type Unicar and then I'm going to reference the Unicode cell. So this one. So if you notice, it actually gives me the down arrow. This one is for the up, so I'm gonna do the same thing, Unicar, and then reference the cell. And then after that, I'm going to name this cell as down, and this one is up. So the reason why I changed the name of this cell to down and then this one is up, this will actually make our formula easier to read. And I'm gonna show you in a bit right here. So let me go back to the dashboard and then let's type in our formula for the trend. So if the change day is less than 0, then I want to return the down, otherwise return the up. Now let me explain what this code means right here. So I'm telling Excel that if the price movement of the change day is negative, I want to show the down arrow. Otherwise, I want to return the up arrow. So simple as that. Now, next is let's move to the current market value block. So technically, this block is like the heart of the dashboard because this is where we shift from what was paid to what the portfolio is worth right now. So I have four columns right here. I have the price, the total, the change dollars, and the change percentage. Now for the price column, this will be the current price of the stock. So I'm going to use a built-in data type feature again. So equal sign, then select the stock, and then look for the price. There we go. And again, let me remove the decimal places. Now again, for the price, this is the current price of the stock. Now for the total, we just simply multiply the current price by the number of the shares or the board lot. So that would be this one divided by the board. I'm sorry, multiply. There you go. So next, let's move to the change dollars. So for the change dollars, I'm going to subtract the invested total from the current market total. So let me just do that. Now this one or this column will serve as our absolute profit or loss in dollars. So it's actually essential to track because this will show us the real world impact of the investment. Now, next is the change percentage. So it's again, it's the same with the change dollars, but this one will give us the percentage for the gain or the loss. So what I'm gonna do is I will simply divide the current market total by the invested total. So let me just do that one real quick. Okay, there we go. Now, for this column, this is incredibly powerful because this will actually highlight which stocks are your top performers and which ones might need a second look. So I've actually added 9 additional stocks for today's example. And what I want to do next is to bring in the visual component of this dashboard. So I'm going to start with the asset allocation pie chart. And to keep the dashboard clean and organized, I want to do all the heavy lifting in our calc sheet. So let me go back in our calc sheet. And then what I want to do is I don't want to show every single ticker. So I only want to highlight my top 3 asset allocations and then group the rest into an others category. So to achieve that, we would need to use 2 dynamic formulas here. So let me just start top 3. And then I would like to start with the labels. So I'm going to sort first. Let me just do this one real quick, okay? Wait. Let me Okay, so let me just explain this. The sort by here, this is like the engine. So it actually takes our list of the stock names, which is you can see here, and it's going to sort them based on their total market value. And then the number one, or I'm sorry, -1 here, it tells Excel to sort those values in descending order so the largest allocation always jump to the top. So if you notice, the Tesla is our number one there. And Tesla is also, if you look at the total current market value, Tesla is also the one with the highest value. Now, since I only want to take the top 3, I'm going to add take. So why did I use for here? So first of all, take will act as our filter. So by putting for in the formula, we are telling Excel, give me only the first four items from that sorted list and ignore the rest. Now, if you're wondering why I'm using the number 4 in my formula, it's because my range includes the table header, as you can see there, this symbol. And then, so technically what it does is that counting to 4 will give me the header plus my top 3 asset allocations, and then this will be followed by the others. So to actually give us the others category, I'm going to use VSTACK. There you go. Now I know it doesn't make sense yet. Let me just do the calculations for the values. Let's make this one bigger. I'm gonna use the let function. Oops. Okay. Okay, I cannot press enter. That's fine. All values. Let me do this. Our top 3 values. Take sort. Can I sort all the values? Wait. I'm going to explain this formula. Just give me a sec. And I'm going to sum all the values minus the sum of the top 3 values. Okay, let's do a currency here. I just want to explain the formula so it's so you can understand why I'm using this. So the all values that you can see here, we start by telling Excel to look at our entire range of market values. Now the top 3 values, just like before, we use sort to put the biggest numbers at the top and then take to grab the first 4. Remember that includes our header and then our top 3 asset allocation values. And then for the VSTACK, this is the final step. This is where we take those top 3 values and then stack them on top of one final calculation, the sum of all values minus sum of the top 3 values. So to make it more understandable, the sum, the sum of all values is the total value of the entire portfolio, while the sum of the top 3 values is the combined value of the top 3 stocks allocation. So by subtracting the top 3 from the total, we are essentially saying everything that is left over goes into the others bucket. So why do we do this? Because if you have 10 or 20 stocks in your portfolio, a pie chart with 20 slices becomes unreadable. So it's just a mess of tiny invisible slivers. So by doing this math, we force all those smaller, less significant holdings into one consolidated slice. So this actually keeps our chart clean and easy to read, and most importantly, it is mathematically accurate because the sum of all the pieces will always equal to 100% of the portfolio value. So what we're gonna do now is that I will insert a pie chart. I wanna use this one, the donut. And Control X. And I'm gonna head to dashboard and then Control V. So I'm just going to put that one there. So next is I want to visualize the profit and loss so I can instantly see which stocks are dragging down the portfolio and which ones are carrying the portfolio. So I'm going to create a negative and then a positive column here, and I will use a simple if statement. So if the change dollar is less than 0, then return the negative value, otherwise return 0. Let me just drag it down. So for the positive, let me just copy this, type it here, but let me change this one. It should be greater than 0. There you go. Let me change this into currency. So I will. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I need to do this. So because Excel creates a chart based on column data. So by separating them into two categories, we can assign two different colors. So at a glance, you can see exactly which positions are green and which ones are red. So I'm going to insert, let me use this one. Then Control X, and then go back to the main dashboard, Control V, and I'm going to leave it there for now. So I'm going to go back to the calc sheet. Now I want to take our analysis a step further by visualizing the trailing 12 months. So to do this, we would need a dynamic date range. So to do that, let me just do 1 year data. So first is I would need the today's date, and then to get a dynamic date, I just need to reference this one minus 365. Why did I do that? This is to ensure that the dashboard is always looking exactly 1 year into the past. So now next is I'm going to need the stock info. Let's do Tesla here. Then this one. Okay. So in order for us to pull the historical data, I need to use the stock history formula. So let's reference this one. And the next is we need the start date, which is this one, followed by the end date. All right. So now that I have the historical data, I actually want to see how the stock has grown relative to the start of the year. So let me just type 0. I'm going to name this 1 year variance. And then for the second row, let me do this. So for me to actually get the 1 year variance, I need to lock the closing price of that very first day as an absolute reference. So just press F4. Sorry, this is press F4, hit on enter, and then I'm gonna do a flash fill. So now I'm going to highlight this column, and then I'm going to insert the line chart. Hit on Control X, go back to the dashboard, and then Control V. There you go. So now I am going to build out the summary cards for our dashboard. Let me just jump back to our calc sheet. Then let's go back at the top. I'll have here the total investments. And then this one is the profit and loss. And then of course the percentage. So for the total investment, I'm gonna use a simple formula, just the sum of this one, total market value. And then for the profit and loss, I'm going to sum this to change dollars. For the percentage, this is going to be the profit and loss divided by the sum of the invested total. So this is percentage, and then this one is change that to currency. Oops, okay. So next is I will insert a text box. Enter the equal sign here, and I'm going to reference the this one for the total investment. There you go. Let's Control D, and then this one is gonna be for the profit and loss, and then for this one is for the percentage. Okay, there you go. So let me copy. Okay, there you go. Also need to type here total investments, and then this one is profit or loss. Okay, so the last step is to get everything into its final position. And to save you some time, I'm going to fast forward the video. But basically, I am going to group, align, and apply a consistent color theme to our charts and cards. So let me just do that. Alright, so this is now our final dashboard, and I just want to say though that I've actually added something here, this one. Let me just show how I did this. So I actually added a data validation list. So let me show you that one. This is the list. This one right here. So why did I do that? So if you notice, if I click a stock, the chart here would actually update. So after I added the data validation list, for this one here in our calc sheet, I actually referenced this cell right here. So if you notice in the formula, it is now referenced to the cell D36 in our dashboard sheet. So every time we change the stock here, our chart right here will update. And there you have it. This is now our fully automated professional grade stock dashboard built entirely from scratch. You've moved from raw data to a custom financial tool that updates itself. So now that you have the framework, you can try adding your own favorite stocks or playing around with different chart types to make it your own. And if you found this build helpful, leave a comment below with your favorite Excel tricks. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for watching.